Hello students, welcome back. This is Mr. Campbell here with day 9 of our unit. Hopefully we are all doing well and have made progress on some of our recent assignments, including our notebook checks, which have been graded. We have the lab assignment, which I assigned you guys as well. Again, you were to complete the data table as well as answer the lab analysis questions after analyzing that data table regarding our evolution seed collecting from those bird beaks. And yeah, we have our next unit quiz, which I'm gonna have that be on Friday. It's going to be probably 15 to 17 questions. Okay, so it'll be the last one was 10, this one will be 17. And it'll be a solid grade, so make sure you're set up you studied and you do your best on that. And yeah, with that being said, I think that also means we've got the vocab due on Friday, right? So you got to make sure you got the example sentences, make sure you've got the definitions and then the illustrations with those to get full credit. Again, you need to turn those in by taking a picture and submitting it. It has to have your name on it, etc., etc. Read the assignment links under assignments where you will find all those details on Canvas. As you can see here, guys, for our Go Blue questions, let's get started. We've got a very quick lesson today because I have another assignment I'm going to be posting that is going to be due next Friday. So like I said, it may seem like there's a lot right now, but I just try to give you assignments like way ahead, like 10 days ahead at least, so you guys can get it done early, right? Number 1, what is needed to cause evolution? What needs to happen maybe? Number 2, and we're on page 10 or 10B of your notebooks, guys. Keep your notebooks up to date. We have a notebook check every other week, as you guys know, for online class. 2, how are plants evidence for continental drift? And 3, what are 5 different ways that organisms can become fossils? 5 different ways. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. Number 1, again, pause the video, think about it, and then we'll answer it. Either mutations or migration. So mutations are changes in DNA that are sometimes not bad for the actual organism. Okay, so when that mutation occurs, like for the giraffes have evolved from prehistoric horses, right? So in case of the giraffe, you had a bunch of somewhat longer neck horses that kept surviving, kept reproducing, and eventually that became the norm, right? Giraffes became the thing. The long necks survived, the shorter necks did not. Mutations. Migration. You move an animal from one place to the next, it can totally change the evolution of that area. Let's talk about the pet trade in Florida. Right? You got people bringing over iguanas, bringing over pythons that are not native to this area. And what do people do when they get tired of having those creatures as pets? They release them in the wild. And it's a big problem for the Everglades, right? Migration's another big factor for evolution. Number 2, plants for continental drift. Well, one of the biggest lines of evidence were ferns, these tropical kind of plants. Fern fossils were discovered in Antarctica. And if you guys know anything about Antarctica, okay, there are no plants there today. All you got is a bunch of ice. You got penguins. You got seals, right? Again, polar bears are in the North Pole, not the South Pole. All right. So people might speculate, oh, creatures could swim across. That's how we found all the same fossils in faraway continents. Not the case. Plants cannot swim, especially the ocean. Okay. So how could you have plant fossils in Antarctica? Well, Antarctica has moved, it's drifted, and it used to be closer to the equator. Lastly, guys, our 5 types of fossils that we'll be learning about tomorrow include mummification, amber, tar seeps, freezing, and petrification. So know those, have those. We'll go over those in detail tomorrow for our fossilization lesson. Okay? Let's go ahead and continue, guys. We will not worry about the writing questions for now. I just kind of want to see how our unit quizzes keep progressing. I may make these a separate assignment, so do not worry about test writing questions for now. I think the notebook checks take place for that, right? And then, because these are already in our notebooks, right? So we're not going to, these are just for the on-site class. I give them the writing questions ahead of time. If they know it, they know it. But for you guys, they don't have they have like maybe 2 notebook checks a semester, maybe 3. You guys have them every other week, so we're not going to worry about this right now. Table of contents, this is the last update for the table of contents for this unit, guys. 10 through 11, fossilization types, and page 12 is geology dating. So that concludes the table of contents for this unit. So please pause and update that. Let's go ahead and move on here. We're gonna skip that video and such. Not gonna worry about that. That's not included for us. Yeah, so basically, did I have a question maybe I wanted to show? No, I think guys, we're just gonna go straight to the last part of our notes on page 9, all about fossil drift, right? That theory. So let's go to that. Okay, and all we have, this is going to be really short because I assigned you guys the the articles to start today, and that's what I did in class. I gave a 10-minute lesson, and then in class we read that article and answered some of those questions. So you guys have to do that for homework, and that's going to be shown here in a little bit. So tree of life, guys, just write this down on page 9. The idea that organisms share a common ancestor. And as we can see in this animation at the bottom, okay, those are bacteria. They say protist and unicellular bacteria were some of the first organisms on Earth. And over billions of years, they've evolved to all the animals on Earth, right? And we've got all these separate hierarchies. We've got the different kingdoms, domains, all of that, again, differentiated by the anatomical features, locations, and DNA, differentiated by that different stuff there. Okay, so write that down. We'll get that. Pause the video. And then let's go ahead and check out. I've got a little video, but you don't need to write these down. This is just for discussion's sake in class. What is the mechanism for evolution? What's like the decider in evolution? It's nature. We call this natural selection. And here's a good question. See if you can guess it before and pause. What percent of human DNA is similar to a chimpanzee's? Got a lot of good feedback on that one, okay? Similar DNA is going to be 98.8%. Yes. Again, we can see that the most human-like creature on Earth is going to be the chimpanzee, and it should be no coincidence that its DNA is so similar as well. Again, connecting all those lines of evidence for evolution being the situation, right? All right. So let's go and take a little video break here. Again, it's your responsibility to watch on your own. There's no question, though, with it. And look more into this DNA being similar to chimpanzees. I'm just going to show a quick 45-second clip of this.
Share 50% of our DNA with bananas, 80% with dogs, and 99% with chimpanzees. Taken literally, right? Those numbers make it sound like we could pluck one cell from a chimp and one from a human, pull out the tangled bundles of DNA known as chromosomes, unroll each one like a scroll, and read off two nearly identical strings of letters. But in reality, the human and chimp scrolls don't sync up so easily. In the 6 to 8 million years since we split from our last common ancestor, chance mutations and natural selection have changed each of our genomes in radical and unique ways. Two human scrolls fuse.
So go ahead and watch it on your own, that whole video. I'll keep the sample video there below the main lesson video for our lesson today. And last thing of the day, guys, before you start your article activity, or your other assignments if you haven't done those already, is the last section, which is, it should say humans in evolution, okay? Ignore this part, the top, what organism looks the most like human-like on our planet. We'll just say the bottom 3 bullets. So most closely related to apes, as we can see, we see the human-to-ape similarity here in this picture. Again, they've got opposable thumbs, similar facial jaw features, skull features, similar. Evidenced by genes as well, as we saw the 99 percentile similarity. And then lastly, we actually have mapped out the entire human genome. All of the genetic code for humans we mapped out since 2003. So there's a lot of ethical questions being made about cloning animals, cloning humans, and we're able to clone. The problem remains with the clones usually having adverse health effects, diseases, things like that, not as healthy as the original. So if you clone a human, it's ethical because humans have a conscience, right, as we know, and it gets real tricky. Sorry, students. It gets real tricky with that ethics-wise. Can't really do that, right? So let's go, guys. That concludes our lesson for today. Have those last 2 sections on page 9. You need to start your article activity if you've got all your other assignments done already. Otherwise, it's due next Friday. We'll have our next unit quiz on Friday. We got the vocab due Friday, and you got the lab the lab assignment due Friday as well. So get those all done, get it taken care of and situated. This is Mr. Campbell, Earth Space Science, signing out.